Welcome, Joeski Love, to Champagne and Conversations. How are you today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm well, and I want to say I am so excited that you decided to share coffee with me this morning. Thank you so much. Cheers to you with the coffee, our cafe edition. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Joeski Love. I'm going to say something, and I know that you may not be in favor of this, but we'll talk about the legendary part of this. We do call you a legend, sir. We would like to give you your roses while you're here. I
Thank
do
you.
know that you had some concerns about the legendary part of things. I have heard in a few interviews that you were talking about it. So I just wanted to not make you uncomfortable by greeting you as a legend, but we do
Yeah,
appreciate you for the music.
I always believe that, especially in hip hop, we throw that title around very loosely. I don't believe just because you had a hit record that you're a legend. I think in order to be a legend, you have to do something legendary that sort of changes the direction of whatever culture that might be, whether it be politics, civil rights, music, art, dance. So when I think of legends, I think of course, the the first inception or the first school of hip hop being the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the Cold Crush Four, Treacherous Three, Breakout and the Funky Four, and then what I call maybe second, third class would be a Run DMC, uh, LL Cool J, people like that that sort of changed that direction of where the culture was going. So, I had my little hit record at one point, and I don't know how far it swayed the needle, but I appreciate the
Wait,
title. Thank you.
wait, I can't let you say this little Sorry, but we're gonna back it up. It was a platinum record, and it was
Yes,
Pee
ma'am.
Wee Dance. And we are
Yes.
not going to let you discredit the fact that we partied on the Pee Wee Dance. Okay. So
Well,
if
you
you
said it, not me.
if you added art to it, you did the art part. If you added the commercial part to it and tied it into film, you did that. So in that creation, there was an art form. And with that, you created something that was really before anything else that we had of its like or its kind. So you created something new. You created an area where we were like, oh, we can take a character and mix it with some hip hop and have a good time. And here we are. So to me, I would say that is part of what legendary means. And that's the reason why we give you that rose and say thank you for your contribution to the culture. So with that,
Oh, thank you.
we'll keep it there. um, but I know that you did have a concern about that, so we do appreciate it. But before we go any further, what kind of coffee do you like?
Uh, well, as we were talking briefly before, I'm a Dunkin' Donuts man. Hope hope they send a check for that, but for
Okay, that's
plugging them.
why I
But
did your plug for you. Because of course I'm a Starbucks girl, but we were having the conversation, guys, about coffee and what we like, and obviously we were talking about lines in terms of getting the coffee, and
yes,
I feel like Starbucks moves fast, and you
well,
feel different, right?
New York, you know, I think Starbucks is probably a little more popular. So when I go to the Starbucks, it's the line is very long. The only time I usually get Starbucks is my wife has the app on her phone.
Sure, yes,
Before we
necessary.
go somewhere, I'm saying hi to my wife Denise. Hi Denise.
Hi.
But she would she'll order it on the app and we'll just pull up in front of one and grab it and go. But if that's not the case, Dunkin' Donuts is a lot faster and it's a lot cheaper. Dunkin'
Well,
Donuts is a bit pricey. I mean, Starbucks is a bit pricey for some coffee, but it's good. I enjoy it when I get it.
Guilty pleasures, gotta have a few. Whatever the vice is, that if it's coffee, this so be it, because it's sure mine. I will say, I have to have it. So I do appreciate you having a conversation with me over coffee. That is definitely something that I love, 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 especially coming out of this COVID. So yes, cheers to that today.
Yeah,
How's
I'm a
everybody?
4 cup a day guy.
How many?
At least 4.
Oh my gosh. Really? That's
Yeah.
I may do two, but not four. But I
Well,
I do a lot of shots in my one or two anyway, like three espresso shots.
I'm very much addicted. This is definitely coffee is definitely my vice.
Yes, it's my vice too. So yes, this is great. And we're happy to have you take time out on a Saturday to be able to spend with us and just talk a little bit about your career, the music. You have a big event coming up, and we want to celebrate that with you just quickly. So, as it relates to the project, Joe Cool, I really like the name of that. And as I was listening to some of the songs, I will admit I had not heard some of those songs before. So to even go down and listen to the album, it was fun. Living Large in the 90s was obviously my favorite. But I just
Really?
wanted to talk, yeah. So I just wanted to talk to you about the making of the album, Joe Cool, and how did you feel about that? And in your creation for your, and that was your first album, right? Right out of Pee
Yeah,
Wee's.
first and only.
Okay, okay,
That came much later than Pee Wee though.
sure. But how was it, just putting that album together? Because you have a little bit of Pee Wee dance in it. I hear that in some of the tracks, but then you also are phasing into kind of that Kid and Play era, it sounds, with that also. So I just wanted to get your take on you and creating that album.
Well, that's incredible that you caught that Kid and Play thing because Herbie Azar, who was the producer of Kid and Play and Salt and Pepper and Dana Dane and various others, produced that album. So I after Pee Wee, I left Entertainment Electra Records over a number of things, but mostly artistic differences with the label.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left, through a production deal with oh, what was the name of their crew? Well, it was Chuck D, Hank Shock, the Bomb Squad. Now it comes to me, the Bomb Squad, who were the creators of Public Enemy and a bunch of other people's stuff. They did BBD, Slick Rick. I signed a production deal with them, and they got me a deal on Columbia Records. And in the middle of the deal, the production company fell apart, or they were having some business disputes. So Columbia decided to keep me without them, and then they were looking for a quote unquote named producer to do the album. You know, they wanted a. I think they approached Teddy Riley, approached a bunch of people that were hot at the time, and me and Herbie had the same lawyer. So I've known Herbie, I've known him for a while, but I wouldn't say we were friends, but we had a relationship, respectful relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So my lawyer approached him and asked him, hey, we're having this issue with Joeski and the label. They're looking for a big name. You're a big name. Would you be interested? And he was like, sure. Yeah. So we linked up and we did the album. So that's probably where you hear the similarities in Kid and Play's music and in my music because it's the same guy.
Yes, and you were cool with that?
Um, yes and no. I would have liked the album to be a little more edgier, but the label's influence because they were looking for, I guess, because of Pee Wee, they looked at me a certain way. So the edgier stuff was like, nah, mm-mm. The got people that bought Pee Wee's not going to buy that. So we need to try to tap into that fan base again. So begrudgingly, I went along with it to get the project done. Some of the songs I like some of them I didn't, but that's the
Who was
body
your
of work we
favorite?
came up. Ah, hmm. I would say Joe Cool was my favorite
Mm-hmm.
because, and not even because of the music, because Kwame actually worked with me on that song, and I enjoyed working with Kwame. He's a very talented person. I look at him as a little brother, and as you know, he's still successful as a producer with
Yeah.
what's the young lady's name? Vivian
Vivian
Green,
Green. Mm-hmm.
a few others that people might know. He did Lloyd Banks, LL Cool J, Mary J. Blige. But this was young Kwame when he was just getting his chops in producing. So I really enjoyed working with him. It was a very pleasant experience.
Yeah, shout out to Kwame. Yeah, so Joe Cool, just so you know, a lot of the comments on that song give you that legendary title as well. Um, there you
Oh, there
are.
you go.
They give it to you. So Joe Cool is one that, a lot where, oh my gosh, this brings back memories. Oh my gosh, this is just the song. We party to the song. So I do believe that there was a lot of people's favorite, the Joe Cool. Now, Kicking and Flavor was the one that I identified as what sounded very close to the Kid and Play. You remember that one?
I barely remember that song,
You
but
do? I told you I was in here partying to it. So kick
I
it
haven't
in
listened to
flavor.
that
Go back
that
and take a
album
listen.
in a long time.
Okay.
Oh God. Um, I think I recall it. Some, the sample used on that song. I think Kid and Play might have actually used that sample as well. So maybe that's why it sounds
Well,
like
okay, so all right, that's good information because you do hear it. And then there's a couple of songs that you hear a bit of the Pee Wee dance as well in your on your track. Um, and I want to say it might have been I know she likes you or something like
I know
that.
she likes Joe. I know she
Yeah,
likes Joe.
yeah, I think I heard it there. You got to think back.
Well, I tried to sample Pee Wee as much as I could because there was such a time lapse between Pee Wee and then dealing with all the political and legal aspects of putting out Joe Cool. And rap is historically fickle, especially back then. If you didn't keep um, basically jump on it while you were still hot, people
Right.
forgot you because there was somebody else that took your spot. So I think it was maybe a 3-year gap between Pee Wee and Joe Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I figured if I sampled Pee Wee enough, people would, oh, okay, that's the guy that made Pee Wee, so they wouldn't forget.
So you're being strategic on that. Now, I've heard you mention the lyrical content or the lyrical aspect of your music. If you had done a second album, would you have actually gone out of the commercial space and more into the lyrical? What would your second album have been?
Well, I did record a second album for Columbia. I just never delivered it because
Oh,
we got into again, we got into that artistic beef that I had faced with entertainment.
uh-huh.
So it it was a little more edgier. It wasn't. I wasn't trying to be a gangster, nothing like that. But the content was deeper. The lyrics were deeper. I had a song called "Baby Makes Three," which was basically telling a story about a young man and a young woman that had a baby when they were young and trying to maneuver through life with a young child. And so that was a song. I had a reggae song. I had a couple of stuff that sounded a little bit more R&B ish, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak. Probably in the lane of a Heavy D or a Kumo D's type of sound back then. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. But Columbia wanted the Fresh Prince of the Bronx. So I don't know how you would say it, but that's what they saw Joeski Love as.
Wow.
So
Uh, And then here you are. Who were your
Never-
musical influences when you were, kind of working on your music? Was there any like R&B influences that you had specifically, or all hip hop?
No, but I'm a huge Prince fan,
Okay.
huge Prince fan. So, so as far as music in general, he's my favorite musician, hands down. Period. My favorite rapper is Slick Rick.
Okay.
I think Rick is a genius. You know, the things he does lyrically and his storytelling ability is unmatched. Like if they had a category for best storyteller in hip hop, he would win hands down. Like, and second place would be like way behind him. You know, Rick's a lyrical genius. Yeah. So as
Okay.
far as that, and of course, as a kid growing up in the Bronx when hip hop started, you know, Melly Mel, Kumo D, um, DXT, he was DST at the time.
Mhm.
Fearless Four, Fantastic Five.
Nice. Yes. Now, did you play any musical instruments, or you just did the
No,
rap? Okay.
I'm not musically gifted like that. I wish I would. I always wish I learned to play the piano and the violin.
Right, right. Which is they're both dope now, especially the violin is becoming even more versatile than it was. From the classical perspective, you hear it even in, some of the hip hop situations now. So it's nice. That and the heart. So the musical part of it is expanding. Now it's funny that you mentioned Prince. We had DJ Diamond the artist on, and he and I were laughing because when I had him on, we were talking about the fact that I was doing the Pee Wee Herman dance before he actually loaded in to start talking to me. So he was like, "Oh, Joeski Love, yes, 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 that's my man," so on and so forth. But yeah, he was the one that kind of turned the light bulb on for me to even reach out to you. So I am thankful to him for reminding me of that, and then you responding so graciously to have a conversation with us and talk about your project. And he worked with
I mean, cool
Prince
people.
for some
Yes, he
time.
did.
Yes.
I'm so jealous.
I know his stories were amazing on how Prince just interacted with him. I'll send you the clip if you haven't had an opportunity to look at it. But he did talk a lot about Prince and his experience.
Never got to meet
So,
him. I always wish I could have met him, but I remember doing a show. I remember this phone call. My manager called me and he said, "I just booked you for a show you're going to be really excited about." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. One show just like the next." He said, "No, you're going to be really excited about this." I said, "Where am I playing?" He said, "Minneapolis." I said, "Really? Where?" He said, "The First Avenue." Now, if anybody who knows, hold on this thing. The First Avenue is the club that they recorded Purple Rain, all the live concerts scenes. That's the name. That's the club, the First Avenue. So I was really
mhm.
excited. But when I got there and I did an interview with one of the radio stations, I shouted out to Prince to try to tell him, how big fan I was. And one of his people called the station, he's not in town. He wasn't there when
Oh,
so I missed my opportunity to meet him. But I did open for Morris Day a few times. So
nice. Yeah. Yes. And speaking of shows, you have one coming up in Connecticut real soon. Are you excited about that?
yeah, because for a few reasons. First is this is my first show since the pandemic broke.
Yes.
So I haven't performed in a little over a year because we couldn't go out. There's no
Mm.
place to perform. And I'm excited about the lineup. I know everybody on the lineup from previous relationships. The
Have Roxanne
but
Shante on there.
yes, I've known Roxanne
Yes.
Shante since I was like 15. A
Uh-huh.
close friend of mine is her nephew.
Okay.
I've known her before music, before I was into music. Oh well, before I was quote unquote a celebrity. Christopher Williams, somebody else I've known since I was from childhood. He grew up in the same neighborhood as some of my family members. Drez from Blackstreet, that's my dude. Shout out to Drez.
Shout out to Dress. Super cool.
So
Yes.
I'm very, looking forward to this show to perform and to touch bases with people I haven't seen in some time. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So what do you typically perform when how many songs do you do when you go out?
I just do Pee Wee,
Really?
that's what people want to hear. They don't want,
Yeah, but I
Joe's
thought you
cool.
might add a few of your other ones.
No, I used to perform Say Joe. If anybody remembers that song, that was the follow up to
Yes,
Pee
they
Wee.
remember.
But I took that out of the show because Pee Wee's the one. Everybody's got that signature song that people are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Get to that one though. I want to hear that. So that's what I give them. You know,
That's what you
I
give them.
you know I extended a bit. I have crowd participation and I interact, but yeah, it's just basically Pee Wee. Get straight to the point. Let's hit them and go.
Yes. Well, listen, maybe you need to bring him out, get him to go on tour with you. That'll be a good new thing to do once we finish with this COVID.
He was almost in the video, almost.
Okay.
Yeah, what happened was, um, for people that are old enough to remember, he had a children's show that used to come on Saturday mornings.
Hmm.
Pee Wee's Playhouse, I believe it was. So when we were ready to film uh, the video for the song, they reached out to him and he wanted to do it, but he had a full beard and he had this
Really?
crazy hair. Yeah, he let
Wow.
his hair grow out. He let his hair grow out. He grew a beard, and he didn't want to pee wee up, so to speak, until it was time for him to film the show, which hadn't began yet. He didn't actually start filming the show, but he was about to, but he didn't want to shave and clean up
Wow.
until then. So
Okay.
it made no sense. It made no sense to have him in the video if you couldn't recognize him.
Yeah. If he's not gonna give the look, we need the look.
So he was integral in getting the movie scenes put in the video. And if you remember the video, the classroom setting, the guy who played the
Yeah.
teacher in the video was actually the actor in the movie that stole Pee Wee's bike.
Hmm.
So
Very
they
cool.
sent, they let us use the movie footage. So it worked out.
It worked
It would
out.
have been better
Yes.
if he was in it. It
Yes.
would have been
They still
a
contributed.
yeah,
That's
been it.
awesome.
But they lucked out. So
Yes, that's awesome. So, and we love stories. So, what would be a story that you have on being on tour with doing the song? Do you have a great story that you can share?
I have a funny story.
Okay.
Actually, been in Virginia.
Ah, okay.
We were in the Coliseum. Uh,
Richmond Coliseum.
I don't know. hmm
Okay.
sold out show. I'm on the stage, me and my dancers, my two cousins, Lewis and Kevin. Shout out to Lou and Kev. So I'm standing in front of the monitor on the stage, and I go to turn to get back to them, to get back into the dance routine, and I fell.
Oh.
And when I say I fell. Boom! So everybody's looking like, and now everybody's laughing. So I'm embarrassed. I'm laying on the floor like, how the hell am I going to get up in the middle of this, finish the show? And bow-legged Lou from Full Force was on the side of the stage, and he whispered to me, "Get up and say I meant to do that," like from the movie.
Oh, right, right, yeah.
So I got up and I said, "I meant to do that," and I laughed, and everybody in the crowd cracked up. And I was
Yay.
able to go on with the show. Shout out
Yeah,
bow-legged Lou.
that is dope. We love the stories, absolutely. So yes, now do you have any plans for any new music going forward, or have you
No, I'm
retired
retired.
from you have
I'm retired. Yeah, I'm just a fan right now. I just enjoy listening and seeing what the new generation has to offer. I'm not one of them old school guys that sitting there going, "That ain't hip hop." No, it's just not our hip hop. You know, Marvin Gaye is R&B. Our parents listened to the R&B. Marvin Gaye, The Temptations. They didn't listen to New Edition. New Edition is our R&B. Mary J. Blige is our R&B, and we enjoy our stuff. I say that today, this isn't our hip hop. These young kids aren't going into the recording booth saying, "Hey, how do I get these 50-year-old people to enjoy my music?" No, they're not doing that. They're trying to get our children to enjoy their music. And every once in a while, I hear something that they do that's creative that I really enjoy. So I like listening and looking at how they move now. And I'm proud of them, and I see how successful, they're way more successful than we were, which is beautiful. Because we're supposed to take the hits for our kids. So we took the hit so these guys can move forward and push the culture further. And I hope the generation after that does the same thing.
So who are you a fan of today's hip hop?
Well, I like Drake. I love Jay Electronica. I love his album. I listen to Pop Smoke. I like some of his stuff.
I love Pop.
I like.
Rest in peace, Pop.
Yeah, rest in peace. His album is very
Yeah, I like that one.
Very. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. Just very. So it's a nice sounding album.
Yes.
I love Cole, Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
It's just everybody. There's a lot of them I like. There's a lot of them I don't like too. But I'm not going to do that here. But that's just a matter of taste.
But
not
now
because I'm shutting them down.
J. Cole and Kendrick and Drake. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm partial to when they would actually sit, where they would actually sit on the timeline. Because I still feel like I understand their past our growing up phase, but I still feel like they're closer to what we grew up on than the real today hip hop. Like I know you mentioned Soldier Boy, and of course we have the Babies, and we have the Quanda Rondos and all those folks. Yeah. So I'm thinking more of that is the new hip hop, and then of course the conscious stuff that we're used to from like the Q-tips and such, the Talib Kweli. We're used to that, which is like our new J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and that. So I still think we're on the same page when it comes to hip hop transitioning from what we grew up on. But, today, the things that the kids listen to today is I think what we talk about often in as it relates to hip hop.
Well, yeah, I once, the Vibe magazine, when Vibe was hot, used to have this thing on the back that said 20 questions, that they were like funny, sarcastic type of questions and answers. And one of them said, if you're offended by the lyrics in hip hop, then you're old. So I look at that and say, well, I guess I'm old.
Well, we're old.
I've gotten to that point because I can't listen to a lot of that stuff.
Yes. I don't even know what they're saying.
I don't knock what they do, whatever you do have to do that's legal to feed your family. But I can't, all the B's and H's, and I can't listen to a lot of that.
Right.
I know I said I like Pop Smoke, and whole album he's doing that too. But the way he did it is kind of different. I don't know if that's hypocritical or not, but
it was art.
I can't listen to a lot of it. Yeah, his album is more melodic.
Yeah.
So it's really melodic. It almost sounds like he's singing.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I can't listen to a lot of the hardest stuff. It's like not a lot of it at the same time anyway. It starts beating you in the head. You start getting angry all of a sudden. Yeah.
And I used to say that about Lil Wayne when, depending on meetings and such that I would have to go to. I'm like, you lucky I didn't listen to Lil Wayne on the way here, because this meeting would have gone a totally different way.
I like Lil Wayne.
I have to bring it in sometime. Make sure I kind of like woosah, not to go too far. But you're right. This music today would have us, having to ask for forgiveness later, I think, because some of it gets to be too much.
But we had that too, so we can't, and that's why I try not to be hypocritical with it, because we had DMX and artists like that. And shoot, there's been plenty of times I probably got into a road rage incident listening to D. God bless him, sleep in peace, brother. But yeah, sometimes D get you amped up. MOP get you amped up. Busta Rhymes get you amped up to where maybe I shouldn't have listened to too much of that while I went to work, because you're barking at your coworkers like, oh, sorry, that's my DMX.
But it felt like we were supposed to. I guess maybe that was the age in our time, the time that we were in, because it didn't seem off then. So I guess to your point, maybe that's it. I mean, it was, yeah, certain songs that you just named, it was just in the time. Our age, it was age appropriate, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. Appropriate. Because
maybe.
hip hop is a youth movement. It was started by young people for young people. I don't know if you, I don't ever think you can age out of it because I look at it as cultural. But there's certain things that, that you do at 25, you damn sure shouldn't be doing at 50.
Right, right, right. Although when you
You should
listen to
do
it, it
that
does
life.
bring back a memory.
Oh, it takes you back. And
Yes.
I think music's supposed to do. When you listen to, a song, like, oh, that's my jam. I remember high school. I remember dating this person. I remember going to this club. I remember wearing this outfit. And it's supposed to make you feel good. So
Yeah.
yeah, but like at 50, you shouldn't be acting like that. It's like
So they
you have to
say.
mature. You have to grow up.
So they say.
But don't,
We might be able to have a
well,
little bit of it.
but it's just like some things are for your kids. This hip hop is for our children, and hopefully they maneuver through it safely as we did.
And if you would say something to them from what you know now, what would it be? What piece of advice would you give to the hip hop of today?
Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment, because believe it or not, everybody, if you're blessed enough, if Allah blesses you, everybody will be old school. So it's funny. There's so many artists that came out after me that I do shows with, and it's like, whoa, it's a 10-year gap between us. When I was no longer, the hot guy, these guys were hot. But right now, we're both on the old school circuit. So enjoy this moment, have as much fun as you can, make as much money as you can. Just enjoy this moment because it doesn't last forever. Nothing lasts forever.
Very well said. Thank you, sir. Please share your social media so people can follow you. Those of you that are in Connecticut and you'd like to attend the show, you can see the flyer that is on Joeski Love's social media, but please share your social media with everyone.
I don't even know it.
It's Ropel.
Roper.
Okay,
Joel Roper. Man. I no longer have a Facebook account, or if I do, I haven't been on it in years. I think I closed them out. But I started getting attacked by Trump supporters for some of my posts. So I was like, I don't want to argue with people online. I'm just going to shut it down.
Okay, all right.
But,
that is fine. You can find him on the hashtag also.
That's who you voted for. That's your business. I don't care. Just don't attack me for my views. Everybody's got a right to an opinion.
Yeah, and such an opinion we had going through all of that, but we'll move forward. We won't even look back. We will leave it. Yeah, we will not look back. You all be well with your family. Much luck and success to you all for the show coming up, and we will look to probably some more interviews we will see from you, I'm sure, in the future. But thank you so much for your contribution to the culture. We're going to give you your roses and tell you thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Joeski Love joining Champagne Conversation.